hello, and welcome to Monday night in the Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and it's Monday all over again, but I hope that your Monday was a great day, as mine was. And tonight, I'm very, very excited it's Monday because I have a rock band from Tucson, Arizona with us tonight that I think you're going to absolutely love. We've been featuring their music some on our Indie Artist Showcase on Saturday nights, and also we've added it to rotation on our radio station, jukebox-junction-radio. So we're just so excited to have the guys from Broken-Romeo on with us. Hello, guys.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We survived Monday, so we're doing just great. The weather's great here in Tucson, 82 degrees, clear skies. I guess you guys are getting a bit of weather, but we'll survive.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was in Tucson about a year ago, at the end of May, right around Memorial Day, and was there for a work conference. And no, this is not my day job. I wish it were, but but we were there for a conference, and we had it at the Westin there in Tucson. And, oh, my gosh, I'd never been to Arizona, but I was just enamored at all the sites. A typical tourist from North Carolina that's never been anywhere, but it was great. I mean, but it's so funny, the whole trip, no one ever said anything to me as far as with the hotel or anything about, you know, stay on the path, try to make sure you get to your room before it gets dark. And when we get back from the trip, one of my colleagues was saying that, you know, the reason why they didn't say anything outright was because they didn't want to freak us out because of the rattlesnakes that just kind of venture out at night, you know. So I was like, I'm glad I didn't know this.
You definitely want to be careful out here in the desert. There's some dangerous desert critters that you basically have to coexist with out here. Usually if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone, but stepping on one in the middle of the night is not a good thing. So sometimes you'll hear the rattle.
Well, that's right. Thank goodness for that. One of the people that attended our conference actually reported back that they had a rattlesnake on their balcony to the hotel that we were in. So fortunately, it was away from where I was staying, but again, that was another tale from the conference that I didn't know about until after we returned to North Carolina, and I was kind of glad I didn't know this while we were there. But yeah, it was beautiful country, and I must tell you, I love the music you guys are making out of Tucson, Arizona, because your sound is it's like relevant to today, but it's classic rock feel. I love it, and as I said in the intro, we have been playing your music to death here on our show, and it's now in rotation on our radio station. It's just good stuff. So let's kind of start at the beginning because I want to find out how you guys came to be. How long have you been together as a band?
How long have we been alive? It's a question we get asked obviously a lot, but we've been around for quite a while. I don't know if everyone knows this. You and I are brothers. Hey, I hear the dog that time. I heard him.
I am so sorry. My dog is thundering here, and I'm going to tell the listeners now, if you are listening, thank you. But if you hear a dog in the background going berserk, it's because in North Carolina, in the crazy world we live in here, we're having thunderstorms. And, of course, in the South, they always say 7 days from now we're going to have snow. So who knows? But yeah, we have thunderstorms. So my dog doesn't like thunder, so I apologize for the noise. And proceed, please.
I'm just giving you a hard time, but I do think that's great. We just had snow in Tucson a couple of weeks ago. Go figure. So, anyways, Steve and I are brothers, and we've always been into actually different kinds of music. But Steve and I have always been a huge Queen fans. And so Steve and I also worked together when I was in college and he was in college, and it was there that we met our bass player Ari, and Ari was in a U2 cover band at the time, and I was a huge U2 fan, so Ari and I hit it off right away, and I didn't play guitar very well or at all, I think, back then. But somehow I talked Ari into joining a band with me, and I got a couple of friends, and we started this band, and after like a practice. The guitar player quit. Go figure.
Tell her that you guys at our house.
Yeah, we practiced at our house. And so we needed a guitar player, and Steve's a few years older than me, which means he wanted to have absolutely nothing to do with me back then. Yeah. But so we needed a guitar player, and Steve was a good guitar player, and he was more into kind of the heavier music at that time. I was more into the kind of, the UK, U2, that kind of stuff. And so I begged him. I said, hey, join our band. Of course, he told me, no frickin' way I'm going to join a band with you tossers, But after a while, I was pretty convincing. I think there was some money involved and some booze. And I finally talked him into it. And so that was kind of the band. And after all these years, different people have come and gone, but Steve and I have always been in the band. Obviously, since we're brothers, we have to.
We can't get out.
That's right.
But Ari left for a while and several years ago, but he came back, and so 3 out of the 4 members are actually the original members in the band currently.
Wow, that's impressive too. And when I first heard your music, I was just, like I said, I had that initial kind of, it took me back, kind of a nostalgic classic rock moment, because I was like, this is so good. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have missed the whole 80s hair band. I've missed the classic rock days. I mean, rock and roll today is so different in a lot of ways from what it used to be. But there is nothing that tops classic rock, in my opinion, because it's timeless, and it just, it's just a kind of good old rock and roll stuff. And it's interesting. I wanted to share with the listeners that you guys had someone that commented about your band, and they said, and I quote, every once in a blue moon you hear a band that knocks your socks off, totally kicks some arse, then leaves you salivating, wanting for more. Broken-Romeo hit me straight between the eyes with feelings like that, and on every track. And, as I read that just rang true for me, because I was blown away, literally, by your sound. So, you've obviously got those musical influences, and how did you arrive at the sound that you have that is Broken-Romeo?
Well, we always try to stay true to what it is we are and what we do best. That doesn't mean that we don't try new ideas or new angles, but at its core, we're still basically a guitar rock and roll band, which seems to be almost a dying breed nowadays. You've got the Foo Fighters; they're kind of like the huge guitar rock band, and we're big fans of them as well. Like I said, at our core, we've always been classic rock fans. Queen, Led Zeppelin. I've been a big U2 fan. The Beatles. I mean, basically all the greats is what Steve and I listen to. That doesn't mean we don't listen to new music as well. There's new bands that excite us. We're big Muse fans, and so we try to incorporate those concepts, at least sonically, into our music. But as songwriters, I think Steve and I always kind of grew up listening to the classic rock songwriters. It took us a long, because a lot of our older music, all the songs were really, really long. And through time we've kind of learned to shorten our songs a little bit, just because
attention spans aren't as long as they
exactly. We used to be, we'd go into a song, well, we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this, and then you'd have a 7-minute song, and it's like, good Lord, no one's gonna spend 7 minutes listening to this. Unfortunately, that's the reality in these days. But like I said, at our core, we've always been influenced by more the classic rock, approach to songwriting, and I still think that's probably us today.
Well, I just want to give you a major hats off kudos, because I'm so glad that you guys are staying true to your roots, number one, but secondly, that you're playing the kind of music that so many people, I grew up in the classic rock era, and I miss it, and we have a classic rock station here in the Carolinas that is very popular, but, it's just, like you say, I agree with you, the Foo Fighters is about the closest thing you've got to that nowadays, and I love the Foo Fighters, but it's refreshing to have, you guys putting out music that so many people, remember from days gone by, that it's just like new stuff for today, and that's the cool thing about it. Now, I want to ask you guys, how did you come up with the name Broken Romeo? I know there's got to be a story somewhere.
Adam.
Go ahead, Steve.
Which one? We've never been asked that before.
Well, I assume maybe you all were a bunch of Romeos in college or in high school, and you all had broken hearts, and voila, Broken Romeo. There we go.
It started when we all. James mentioned that some of the band members, Ari, we met when we were all working together, and he didn't tell you we were working at a record store, and back in those days. We had a catalog. It was a big binder, and
they called it the Music Publishing Bible. It literally weighed like 40 pounds.
Yeah, it was this mammoth, old school real paper binder thing that had every song that's ever been recorded or published. And I think we kind of flipped through it, and
we couldn't agree on a name.
Yeah, we couldn't agree. We don't agree on anything. We argue. We we wrestle, and that's how we do our records. That's how we picked our name. So we just flipped through some pages, and someone pointed their finger down, and
I think it was Ari. Ari stuck his finger down and just said, "What's this song?" And it was a song called "Broken Romeo," and it was an old R&B song that had been recorded in the 50s. And I think at the time we couldn't really agree on a name. Some people wanted something really kind of sleazy, hair rockish. Other people wanted some avant-garde name, but Broken Romeo was a name that we all kind of said, yeah, that'll work. We like that, and it stuck with us throughout the years.
Well, it's neat because it fits either the hair band and the classic rock. I mean, either or, take your pick, And it's funny, you took me down memory lane just then when you were talking about the record store, number one, and number two, talking about the huge, big books that they had, and God, they were just, 4,000 pounds or something. But yeah, I remember. I practically lived at my local record store, and I remember those things, and and it was unfathomable to think that every song that had ever been made was in that book. But what a neat way to get your. I mean, if you couldn't find a name for your band after looking through that, there was just no hope for you, right?
Exactly.
Well, your latest album is Desperation-Daze. Now, here's another question. How did you come up with the title for the album? And looking at some of the tracks on it, you've got, just to name a few, Coming Home, Hallelujah, This is Freedom, Mark of Cain. Okay, so what is the inspiration behind the album, and what's the meaning for it?
Well, recording that album was kind of a hard experience for the band. And we like I said, we've been a band for a while, and we split ways with our former drummer and gotten a new drummer, and he kind of opened up some avenues musically. It wasn't that he was a better drummer than our other drummer. He was a different drummer, and that kind of opened up some avenues to us with our songwriting. But we'd all kind of gone through some, the recession hit in 2007, and Steve and I worked in the title insurance, technology industry.
I had to sell a few of my yachts.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so everyone was a little poorer at home, and there was a lot more stress, and everyone was worried about losing their job, and we're all married with kids, and it almost seemed like music was starting to get put on the back burner, and then we were kind of disagreeing musically what direction we wanted to go. And so when we finally decided to to make that record, it really was kind of a make or break record for us. You know, had that album failed, and I don't mean failed in the commercial sense. I mean failed in, you know, it wouldn't have gotten made, or it would have turned out terrible, or whatever. It really was kind of a turning point for us. If it was either we were going to do this and it was going to work for us, or we weren't, or we were going to do it and it was going to fail, and it was pretty much going to be the end of the band. So, you know, and a lot of the concepts on that album lyrically were kind of wrapped around this whole concept of, you know, what are people going through right now? You know, a lot of my friends are getting divorced, they're getting kicked out of their house, they're losing their job. A lot of our friends have people that are in the service, and they're on their third tour in Afghanistan. You know, a lot of people are turning to drugs and alcohol. Marriages are splitting up. So, lyrically, all those songs were basically, you know, stories. You know, they weren't necessarily, you know, autobiographical, but they were kind of different pieces of different stories of friends I had, or friends of friends that I had, and so that's kind of how we got that. And I think Steve and I were kicking around the name of the album, and I wanted to come up with some like artistic art fart name, and I think Steve said, well, I think we should call it Songs of Desperation or something like that. Days of Desperation. I said, well, I like that. I said, but why don't we put a twist on it? Because I've always been like a big, like I said, a U2 fan, Achtung Baby and stuff like that. I said, why don't we call it Desperation-Daze, and we'll instead of D-A-Y-S, we'll make it D-A-Z-E, like a days of desperation. And Steve liked it, and we talked to the guys, and they liked it, and sure enough, it was also kind of funny at that time. Steve and I had come up with this instrumental piece of music that was it was all guitars basically, that we thought would make a good album intro. That you know, I thought would make a good intro for the song Mark of Cain, which ended up being the first song on the album. And it sounded kind of dreary and you know, broad. So we thought, well, let's name that piece of music. We'll call it Desperation-Daze. It'll be the intro for the album, and that's what it is on the album now. And I can believe it's our instrumental ever.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done talking. I apologize.
We're done talking.
Okay. Well, all right, then. I want to tell you, I love that story because, you know, and the way you did the play on words for the album title, because, you know, without knowing the backstory to the album title, I mean, I thought it was clever. It was very catchy and clever to start with. But to, you know, to look at the album title now or hear it and go, I understand what this means. And yeah, I mean, I like how you described it. It was kind of a do or die project. You know, it was like, you know, this is sink or swim now. If we don't make it now, we're going to hang it up, which would have been a huge travesty, because I could tell you that this album is a work of art, and we have thoroughly been enjoying playing the songs off the album. We're playing quite a few, and which, by the way, is there a particular song that you're actually currently promoting as your current single, or are you just kind of promoting them all? Because they're all good. I mean, which one would you pick is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, we pretty much just promote anything that anyone shows any interest in, really. We've been real fortunate with that last record, because it really does seem like that, you know, there isn't, different songs appeal to different people, but it really does seem that we've got a lot of people interested in a lot of the songs, you know, which is great, because, you know, Steve and I especially have always been, you know, sentimentally attached to the concept of an album. And, you know, it's so hard nowadays to go in and record an album and sell an album, because everyone isn't looking at an album anymore. You know, that's why we wanted to make sure we made hard copies with artwork that was based around the whole concept. I don't know if you've seen the artwork, but the artwork for the CD was actually a bunch of pictures taken by a young lady called Tiffany Bailey, and she's in New Orleans. And there was the Six Flags in New Orleans that just got destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. And I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of an abandoned, like, amusement park, but it's probably the scariest thing you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
It's just really dreary, and we fell in love with the pictures and thought, these are the pictures that we want. And luckily, Tiffany agreed to let us use those pictures. And so Steve and I have always been, again, back to our classic rock days, Dark Side of the Moon, Sgt. Pepper's, News of the World, Joshua Tree, Octane Baby. We've always been in love with the concept of an album. Unfortunately, the way things are going nowadays, it's more about singles and, I want this song out of 10 or I want this song out of 10. So it's kind of hard to really market a whole album, but we've been real fortunate with this one. It seems like we've really kind of struck a chord with people.
Well, the thing I like about your album, and you don't get this anymore, and it's like, nowadays with the digital age, everybody just downloads, picks and chooses a la carte, whatever songs they want. The thing that I like about your album is that every song from start to finish is very enjoyable. I mean, it's like just pick one and listen. And, I've had plenty of albums in my day where I bought the album back in the day when you could only buy albums and there was none of this digital stuff. Bought the album for the 2 or 3 hits on the album, and the rest were just kind of B-siders, But your album is, I can honestly say,
B-sider.
Yeah, I don't know if that's record store lingo or not, but it's my lingo. But it's like the other songs were not, they weren't getting radio play. They were just kind of, there on the album. But I can honestly say that your album, every song from start to finish, is one of those albums you just put it on, start it up, and you let it play, and you really enjoy it. From the entire project.
Now, if we can only get 4 million people to agree with that sentiment, then we'd be.
It's all killer.
Well,
yeah.
I certainly think it's very noteworthy, and it has, quite so much potential, and I definitely hope that this is not your last record, because I would love to see more music from you guys, because this album is phenomenal. I mean.
It's funny you mention that, because we just started work on the follow-up to Desperation.
All right. Well, that's excellent news to me.
Yeah, no, we just started it, and Steve and I discussed this as well with the band, but we're going to do it a little differently this time. With Desperation-Daze, we basically went in and recorded the whole album, and then spent the last 2 years. It came out in October 2011. We spent this whole time promoting the album we made 2 years ago. But we have all the songs for the new record, and instead of going in and recording them all at once and taking several months to do that, we've decided to shake things up a bit. We've started recording one of the tracks already. Which we're experimenting with different ways to record, so that's why we started with one song. But what we're going to do is we're going to record that one song, we're going to release that one song, we're going to record 4 more songs in April, and then we're going to release all 5 songs as an EP digitally. We're going to call it Side 1 or something like that, and then in the fall we're going to record the other 5, 6 songs. And then we're going to release that digitally, and then we're going to take all those songs and put them together, and then throw in like a bonus song or 2, and then make that our CD, and then we'll make that our hard copy, our product. So we're going to do basically 2 EPs and a full album, and then spread it out so we can get the music out there instead of waiting until summer to start recording it and working through that. So we hope, we're trying to do something a little differently. We hope our fans appreciate that.
Well, that's brilliant, because, in this day and time, to put out an EP is not, such a taboo thing anymore. I mean, I think it's a brilliant way for artists to get their music out, especially, if it really does, over the long haul, it really does minimize the cost of doing an album all in one setting. And the fans can get a little bit here and a little bit there in the process, and everybody's happy, And I think that is really a neat way to go ahead and get your music out there and promote it. And then provide the full length album. I mean, that's just awesome, and then it keeps you guys rolling too, you know. So, well, I'm ecstatic to know that this was not a well, we're going to sing now kind of moment.
Yeah.
And that you guys will be putting out more music. I'm looking forward to it. We, like I said, we've been playing it a lot on our station. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, who is also a business colleague, she has an indie music show as well, and she has started promoting your music on her show as well. It's Take Two Radio Music, and you may see her on Twitter. But she, you know, we both are working really hard to get your music out there, because so far in 2013, you are one of my favorite bands. I like to adopt a new band every year, and so far you guys have got the prize. I love your music.
We very, very much appreciate it, and we're very happy that there's an audience for our music. And, you know, really at this stage of the game, that's why we keep doing it, you know, and you know, we've really worked the social media angle, and it seems like, you know, we're getting new fans every day worldwide. And, you know, we like to say we like to earn them one at a time, and you know, so we always make ourselves available. You know, we like to do interviews. We like to interact with our fans on Twitter. So, you know, if anyone's got any questions or you know, we're pretty good about posting updates too, and pictures from the studio and videos and stuff like that. We just, you know, we want it to be a two-way street, right? It's not us, you know, forcing music down everyone's throats. It's a two-way street. We really appreciate our fans, and we're always looking to make new fans, and nothing thrills us more than people that get our music, that really like what it is we're doing, because it does seem like in a lot of ways, you know, we're one of the few bands actually still doing, you know, what it is we're doing.
And I am very thankful that you are, because we need really, you know, the classic rock, hair band rock kind of music has kind of fallen by the wayside, and I think it did when alternative music came on the scene so hard and heavy. And but it's nice to see it's kind of finding its way back, because in my opinion, it will always have a place. It is the heart of rock and roll. And so love what you guys do, and so look forward to the new stuff when it comes out, and would love to have you back on when you guys start releasing that, so that, you know, we can keep everybody updated on what's happening, and you know, and when your music can be expected, so they can get it, pick it up as soon as it drops.
Well, we'd love to, just anytime. Well, I'll make sure to send you, when we get our new song done, I'll be sure to send you a copy.
Please do. I'd love to start playing it, so we look forward to that. Well, thank you so much, guys. It has been a blast. You guys are great, and best wishes and best of luck to all of you for much continued success. And just know we will continue doing everything we can here to help get the word out about you guys, because you definitely are a band that needs to be heard.
And thank you so much, and we really appreciate all the support and you playing our music. And we thank all our fans out there. You know, there's too many to name right now, but
millions.
Yeah, millions. But no, we really do appreciate it, and we know we've got fans out there that are really looking forward to the new music. And all I can keep telling them is, soon we'll have it for you soon, and we think you're going to like it.
That sounds fair enough, then. Well, thank you so very much, guys, for being my special guest tonight. We greatly appreciate it. And, again, thank you, and we will have you back really soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, and take care of that basset hound, or was it basset hound or beagle?
It's a beagle. It's a beagle, but I think he's okay now. The thunder has stopped, so he's either that or my daughter subdued him. I don't know which. But but needless to say, anyway, you guys have a great night, and we'll be in touch with you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, you've just been listening to a great chat with the band Broken-Romeo. They are from Tucson, Arizona. They are an alternative. They call themselves an alternative rock band, but I'm more inclined to believe they have more of just a classic rock / rock kind of feel to them, and they're awesome. And so if you don't if you're not familiar with Broken Romeo, you will be very shortly because I'm going to play a song before we wrap tonight. But you can check out their website, broken-romeo.com. You can also follow them on Twitter at Broken Romeo and also on Facebook at the same name. They're great. So please support these guys. These indie artists work very hard to put their heart and soul into their projects and into what they do, and because they absolutely love what they do. So be supportive and buy their music if you love their music, and I guarantee you will. Then support them. And they got new music coming out, and as soon as it drops, we will have it right here for you. All right, we're going to play one of my personal favorites off of their latest album, Desperation-Daze, and this is Believe. from Desperation-Daze. That is the band Broken-Romeo from Tucson, Arizona, and that is one of the cuts off of their album called Believe. Love, love, love that. So if you love what you just heard, you can pick it up anywhere, iTunes, CD Baby, you name it. You can visit their website, broken-romeo.com, and I believe you can order it from there as well. So check them out. They're a great band, and we will keep playing their music. Love their stuff. All right, that is going to wrap our show for this evening. And, well, before we wrap, I'm going to tell you real quick what we got coming up this week, because I'm pretty sure we've got something coming up. I almost forgot. It's getting late, guys. I'm sorry. Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got Rick Rocker in the house. He's from Queens, New York. He's a 21-year-old singer, songwriter, guitarist who loves to rock. And so we're going to be talking with him about his music and his upcoming EP release. So you'll want to tune in Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, that is going to officially wrap our show for tonight, and we hope that you have enjoyed listening in to our interview with the band Broken Romeo. We want to thank them for being our very special guest tonight, and thanks always to all of you for being our listeners and being here each and every time. If you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. We're always glad to have you back, and we hope you will not be a stranger. So, with that said, good night, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening, and we will see you right back here Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, with Rick Rocker. Good night, all.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop, baked from scratch, custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.